These are the men that all the world admires. Christopher Marlowe. Orson Welles has been called the poster child for lost opportunity. With Citizen Kane, Welles created the best film ever made. Yet because it was a thinly disguised attack on Randolph Hearst, the most famous newspaper magnate ever, in a time when newspapers were all-powerful, it spelled career suicide for Welles. Hearst, who knew every movie mogul in Hollywood, demanded that Welles be stopped from making any more movies. As a result, Welles struggled badly and managed to release only a trickle of films during his career. His immense talent was never realized. He himself had reached the heart of darkness. Unlimited power. Kurtz, the company's best ivory trader, is no mere man. He has achieved a godlike status and exerts almost unlimited power in the depths of the Congo, far from the norms of genteel English society. Marlowe has been hired to find him and must navigate a long, dark river to reach Kurtz's last reported position. Kurtz is a figure of rumor and conjecture, whose mysterious power grows the closer Marlowe gets to him. Kurtz somehow seems to encapsulate the immensity and danger of the jungle. He is the spirit of the wilderness incarnate in a person. In Marlowe's tortured mind, Kurtz becomes the sum of all meaning to be found in the wildest jungle, in the heart of darkness. Marlowe sought out the least tamed places. Only there, in the most forbidding and forbidden locations, did he feel at home. In Conrad's novel, Kurtz's eventual appearance is somewhat anticlimactic. In Apocalypse Now, by contrast, Marlon Brando puts in a stellar performance, making a grand demonic appearance at the climax. He is shrouded in darkness. He is almost the personification of the heart of darkness, and never glimpsed for who he truly is. Kurtz is a kind of Macbeth, Dr. Faustus, and Caesar all rolled into one. He could easily be the Antichrist. For Orson Welles, Kurtz in many ways prefigures Citizen Kane. We might see Kane as Kurtz relocated from the Congolese jungle to the New York business jungle, exercising almost total power, and clearly power-mad, with legions of natives willing to do his every bidding. Heart of Darkness is about penetrating into the mystery of an all-powerful mythical man. And so is Citizen Kane. Rosebud, to the utmost ends of the earth. Hitler is never cited by name in Welles' Heart of Darkness script, but Welles saw him as being in the same game as Kurtz. Kurtz says, "There's a man now in Europe trying to do what I've done in the jungle. He will fail. In his madness he thinks he can't fail, but he will. A brute can rule only brutes." In Welles' script, all the company men are Germans. Kurtz, to intimidate his enemies, stuck human heads on poles. He was the Hitler of the jungle, or the jungle Dracula, impaling all of his enemies. At the climax of Welles' screenplay, Kurtz says to Marlowe, "I'm a whole nation's long golden dream. And to you, a miserable wretch you once caught, grubbing for ivory in the bush, crazy with disease, who died on you in captivity." Marlowe says, "You're more than that." Kurtz says, "Or less." Marlowe says, "How do you know you're going to die?" Kurtz then delivers an incredible speech. He says, "What I've had is fatal. It's called power. Do you understand that? You'll never understand Kurtz, the statue in the public park. And there'll be one, a big one in very bad taste, and on this day every year, they'll make speeches and lay wreaths at my stone feet. And then the young men will go off and get drunk singing a song about me. No, you'll never understand that. Not what they make of me, but you can see what I've made of myself. Understand this much. Everything I've done up here has been done according to the method of my government. Everything. Remember the meek, the meek. I'm a great man, Marlowe. Really great. Greater than great men before me. I know the strength of the enemy, its terrible weakness. The meek, you and the rest of the millions, the poor in spirit. I hate you, but I know you for my betters without knowing why you are, except that yours is the kingdom of heaven, except that you shall inherit the earth. Don't mistake me. I haven't gone moral on my deathbed. I'm above morality. No, I've climbed higher than other men and seen farther. I'm the first absolute dictator. The first complete success. I've known what the others try to get. I've gotten it in the one place in the world where it could be got. I'm the man on top, the one man. All the rest are 6 feet underground where I buried them. That's the game. Bury the rest of them alive. Stay on top yourself. I won the game, but the winner loses too. He's all alone and he goes mad. Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now could easily have made this same speech. Could you make that speech? What kind of human being is capable of such a speech? Certainly no ordinary man, certainly no woke man, certainly no social media influencer. It's amazing how vacuous most people are. Do they have anything to say at all? Do people with nothing to say follow people with only nonsense to say? There are people whose idea of human interaction is to send Hegel quotes twice a week to their beloved. What happened to romance? It has been replaced by the parasocial pretense of love. All show and no actual love. Kurtz, where art thou? Spare us from the vacuum, the world of influencers. Give us a speech that will make us proud to be human, rather than embarrassed. The AC could make Kurtz's speech. In fact, it did. Kurtz says, I ran from the face of darkness, and then as I started back down the river, I saw that there was darkness there too, and failure. So I hid in the charnel house where you found me, and then I ran again. Was darkness following Kurtz around? Do certain people attract the darkness? Do they always carry it with them, and can they give it to others? The darkness contagion always strikes in the dead of night, when no prayer will save you. Kurtz says, madness is better than defeat. Down the river is the light of reason, showing still behind the darkness, marking the evil, marking the shape of the original lie. I sound moral again. I'm not. I'm just practical. I know when to die. I thought the time had come for me. The sun was low over the world, and my shadow was long. It would cover everything. I know now it's not long enough. No man's is long enough. Some people cast such long shadows. Are they shadow people? Are they filled with shadows that they have to project onto everyone else? Do people with hell in them see hell everywhere in everyone? Did the AC cast long shadows over its audience? Did it make them glimpse the real darkness? That's a real achievement. Kurtz says, the strong die with their dream. I am the first to die awake. Our shadows are dark like night, and where they fall the jungle grows again. But the sun always goes down. Mine did, and the world has a darker shadow, darker than mine. I'm going to die before daybreak. I'm afraid to live. The dawn might find me a very little man. Then Kurtz delivered his last momentous immortal words. The horror. The horror. A Kurtz can change the world. A Kurtz can. Most people don't have a prayer. They will change nothing. No woke person will ever be a Kurtz. They are just the gnats that fly around his head. They are the buzzing irritation that the great always attract. Nietzsche said, all that is superhuman appears as illness and madness. Kurtz was both. Nietzsche said, all great things must first wear terrifying and monstrous masks in order to inscribe themselves on the hearts of humanity. It's amazing how woke people can ever imagine themselves capable of greatness when they refuse to wear the mask of the monster. They define themselves by not wearing that mask. That's why they will perish. They will be annihilated by those with the strength to put on the monster's mask. The woke can't even eat meat. They are squeamish about everything. They are pathetic about everything. They are the bloodless degeneration of the human race. Virgil said to Dante in the vestibule of hell, this is the miserable mode in which those exist who lived without praise, without blame. They are mixed in with the despised choir of angels, those not rebellious, not faithful to God, but for themselves. Heaven drove them out to maintain its beauty, and deep hell does not accept them, lest the evil have glory over them. They have no hope of death, and their darkened life is so mean that they are envious of every other fate. Earth allows no mention of them to exist. Mercy and justice reject them. Let us not talk of them, but look and pass. Will people look at you and pass? Are you one of the Ignavi? The woke are every bit as anemic and pathetic. They chose the cause of weakness, decline, and decay. They march behind a blank banner on which they can project their endless emptiness. These hollow men, these soulless drones. They are the degenerate ones. They insult life. We want only those in whom life is ascending. Unreality. Gene Epstein said, "The cinema is an anti-universe where reality is born out of a sum of unrealities." The USA is an unreality created from its own myth-making factory, Hollywood. The USA is the collection of stories told by Hollywood. Orson Welles, in his screenplay for Heart of Darkness, wrote, "Interior temple, moonlight, set." Camera is now much closer to Kurtz on the throne and is still moving forward, Marlowe having covered the long walk from front of temple in the dissolve. Kurtz is more distinct, and as we near him, camera tilts up slightly to indicate that he is on a higher level than Marlowe. We end up in a medium close-up of Kurtz. "Kurtz, have you a cigarette?" He reaches out for the cigarette. His hand goes below frame of camera. He brings his hand back with the cigarette in it and puts the cigarette into his mouth. "Kurtz," continued, "light it for me." Camera moves forward and upward into extreme close-up of Kurtz's face. There is the flare of a match as Marlowe lights the cigarette. Kurtz continued, looking straight at Marlowe. "The image of God." Marlowe looks extremely like Kurtz. "I can use you." Fade out. Dark screen. Fade in. Fade out. Black screen. Dissolve. Fade out. Fade in. Dissolve. Black screen. Dissolve out. Fade to black. Black screen. Black screen. Black screen. USA. USA. USA.